Okay, so I am 1 month in now, 1 month since I started taking my attention deficit drugs. I'm taking guanfacine, which is a non-stimulant drug. And I gotta say, so far, it's been kind of a life changer. One of the main reasons that I originally started pursuing getting diagnosed, which I already knew I had attention deficit. I had been diagnosed as a kid in the 80s, but I haven't taken medications for decades. But I went back because I noticed I was having problems being able to spit out sentences, words, really bad. It was getting to the point where it was really bothering me a lot. And so I went and got the diagnosis, and my therapist said that she had several of her clients who had a similar circumstances where they were having problems drawing words and such, and that the guanfacine was working well for them. So we tried that. I liked the idea that it was a non-stimulant, just because it's a non-stimulant. And I like the fact that this one builds up in your system over time. So it's not one of like with the stimulants, you kind of take it and you immediately feel it. And then in some of them, you'll kind of crash and it's a little up and down. I wanted it to be more consistent, even if it was a little less of an effect. So the guanfacine, I started it 4 weeks ago. The primary side effects with guanfacine is tiredness and dry mouth, especially that first week for the tiredness. It's less like you're a little bit mentally tired, but I felt physically tired, kind of like I just got out of a hot tub. If I had been sitting in a hot tub for an hour or so and you're just kind of laid back and everything like that. Mentally was kind of tired too, but not like crazy. But if you do start taking the guanfacine, prepare for that first week or two to have some days where you're just kind of vegging a little bit, you're kind of tired. But at the same time, your brain's quieter. I find my brain is quite a bit quieter. I still have a little bit of the music playing in the back of the head. As soon as I wake up, I'll have some song that's playing and repeat over and over, but not quite as loud and maybe not quite as often. And just have a little bit, I do have more focus. I'm able to speak a little more clearly. Normally, if I was giving this talk right now, I'd be wouldn't be able to spit out what I was trying to say. And I'm not preparing these statements or anything like that, so that doesn't make it any easier. If I was to prepare, it might be a little bit easier. But after 1 month, I will say there's been a lot of circumstances where it's not super obvious, where you're not just like thinking at that moment that, wow, my head's feeling a whole lot different. It's a lot more like after the fact, you kind of look back and go, I handled that a lot different than I would normally have done. I would have been more stressed out or something like that. I've still been able to hyper-focus when I need to. So that's great. I don't feel like I'm losing any of the superpowers that come with attention deficit. But I do feel like my head's just a lot quieter and calmer. And the dry mouth is definitely one with guanfacine. I'm probably licking my lips a lot now. So even after a month, you still want to keep hydrated good. Because that's certainly one of the bigger side effects, certainly at night and everything. So drink a lot of water, which you should anyway. We all know that we don't drink enough water. So drink water. You got to do it. It's just good for you, and you'll be clearer for it. The drowsiness, of course, the first week is very noticeable. Second week was kind of day by day. Like so one day I would feel fine. And one of the things I did notice is first thing in the morning, and this was probably after the first couple of days even, definitely after the first week, is in the mornings, I felt a little more alert than I normally would. Like normally I get up, and I have to get up early for work. I need a cup or two of coffee to be able to comprehend anything. That was different. That was one of the bigger changes. Is I felt pretty good pretty quick after getting up. I mean, I'm not saying amazing. I wasn't doing jumping jacks or anything like that, but I was definitely more awake than normal, and I didn't need the coffee as bad. And I think that it wouldn't be that challenging to cut that down. So that's kind of a nice change. I'm not that dopamine rush first thing in the morning that you get from coffee. I feel like I have a little bit of dopamine in the morning, and fairly good throughout the day. I do get tired late in the afternoon, but I do anyway because I get up early and I'm usually in bed by 9. And so usually by 9 I'm pretty tired, and I don't have the problem of falling asleep most of the time because I'm pretty beat from the day. So that's one of the big changes is the coffee in the morning. Talking with people at work, I feel like I am talking a little bit more clearly. I'm getting my point across a little easier than I normally would. It's not taking me as much work. And I'm basically just, I can't put my finger on everything. You can feel a pretty big difference, but I can't tell what it is that's different. I did notice in the first couple weeks, sometimes you would have just like an hour or two where maybe it just felt off. Almost like low blood sugar or something. I haven't felt that lately. It was kind of like a 1 to 2 week period right in the middle. And it wouldn't last a long time. It seemed like if I did eat, it was better. And then my psychiatrist did say that doesn't appear to be any of the listed side effects. So maybe it's not related to the medications. But I would have maybe an hour or two here and there where I just felt a little crappy. I guess I did have that occasionally beforehand. There would be times when I felt crappy. So maybe it's a nutritional thing, or just, my body. Who knows? I'm getting old, so sometimes you're going to have those days. But in general, I'm very happy that I started taking the medications. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I may try seeing if increasing the dose makes any additional difference. Like I said, I'm not sure. It's hard to imagine what the next step up would be. So imagining, okay, if things did improve even more, what would that be like? It's kind of tough to tell. I like the improvement so far, and my wife kind of says she doesn't really notice it that much, but it's kind of interesting. I thought it would be glaring because inside my head it feels glaring. It feels glaringly different. But to her, she's like, you're still you. You're still an idiot. That kind of a thing. So, don't expect your wife or husband to be like, wow, what an amazing transformation. It's probably not going to happen. Maybe it will, This is spring right now. We're in March, and up until March usually is kind of a difficult time for me. January through March, it's dark early. It's dark at like 4 o'clock. We're in New England, and it's cold, and you just don't feel like going outside. And that's what I like to do a lot of the times, is just be outside, especially in the evenings, dusk and such. And I try to always be getting a lot done. And January through March can be a really tough time. Especially this year, have had a really tough time just getting motivated to do some of the things that I want to get to. And so far, it is helping somewhat with that. That's certainly one of the things that I hope to get out of it, is to be able to get up off the couch and move and get the things done. It's not uncommon for me to go most of the year just hustling all the time, because I feel I put pressure on myself to get things done. We've renovated 3 houses now. This is our 3rd house that we've totally renovated, at a 2nd floor and everything. And usually that's what is able to get me up and moving, is because I have to get this room done because we want to use it, or the building inspector needs to do an inspection, so I need to get all these things done. And that's my motivation usually. It's high pressure. Well, this year I don't have high pressure. I have a few things that need to be done in the house, but they're not die-hard things that need to be done right now. They're things I want to get done. And the other things I want to do are more of a hobby type things. They're just things I want to do. I want to get this channel moving, but that's not something I have to do. And as you know, with attention deficit, if you don't have to do it, it's a lot harder to do. So I was hoping that the guanfacine was help with that. I think it is. It's still early to tell. It's only 1 month in. The guanfacine takes about 2 to 4 weeks to really kind of fill in your system. I know I was feeling differently week from week for the first 3 weeks. And then by the fourth week, felt like it was kind of plateauing out. But I will say overall, I like it a lot. I feel good. A lot of the things I was hoping would happen with it are. Now, at my last meeting with my therapist, we discussed whether or not we would want to up the dose or not. We decided to kind of stick with this for another few weeks to a month or so, because I'm kind of feeling like what would be better what would be a bigger improvement. Obviously, if I can speak even more clearly and be a great orator or something, that would be great. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but for now, I kind of just want to soak it in, and that's one thing I recommend, especially if you're older and you get the diagnosis and you're starting to take your meds for attention deficit. Really pay attention. Pay attention to everything. Keep a notebook and note the things that change and the things that you maybe feel different or don't feel different. Now, I made quite a few changes when I started to take my medications. I've been taking supplements along with it. I've also changed my diet somewhat, taking 2 eggs for breakfast instead of like a bagel with cream cheese. Just little things like that. So quite a few different little changes. So some of it may be difficult to tell what part of it is the medication and what part of it is those other habits and such. But I definitely feel different, and in a good way. Now, you still have moments when you're down, but before the medication, I had quite a few moments when I was down. And, especially this time of year where you maybe have seasonal depression or you're just upset because you're not getting the things done that you expect of yourself. And, so some of that's going to be normal. It's not going to change all those things totally, but it may, so far at least after 1 month, it does seem to be reducing them, which is great. I'm fine with that. So I don't know how much more of a change I'll feel now that it's 4 weeks in. My body's pretty saturated. I ran out a couple days ago and I couldn't pick up the prescription until the next day. So I was a little bit nervous about what that day would be like, with missing my first dose of medication. I did feel a little bit off, but it was also coming back from vacation. So it was the first day back. So I would have been off anyway. So again, that's another situation where I don't know if it's the medication or if it's just, life. Life is still going to happen. You're still going to have good days and bad days. And if you're a younger person who's thinking about maybe getting diagnosed, do it. It's the one thing you got to remember is if you don't like it, you can stop. If you're thinking about it, if you're able to get somebody to diagnose you or at least screen you, find out all the information you can. Watch those videos, watch YouTube videos on what it's like to be attention deficit and what are the different symptoms and things. You'll be surprised at some of the things that are related to attention deficit. I lived with it all my life knowing that I had attention deficit. And I still am constantly surprised to find out, oh, that's one of the symptoms? I had no idea. And it helps just understand yourself and to understand why you went through some of the struggles you went through, or maybe why you have some of the arguments that you have, or some of the hangups that you have, some of the problems you have at work. It'll help you understand that. Whether it fixes it or not, it's hard to say. But if you don't do anything, it's probably not going to get fixed. Highly recommend learning everything you can, because maybe it's not just ADHD. Some of the screening that I had indicated I may have some autism. We may pursue that further as far as the looking into it. If it is, I'm not too bothered about it. I already know that I have something on the spectrum. So if it's a little further one way or the other, I'm not all that bothered, but it would be good for me to understand it a little bit better. So understanding makes a big difference, because if your wife comes and says, "Why haven't you done that?" and you're reacting in a certain way, wouldn't it be good to know that you're reacting that way because of attention deficit? And if you know that that's why you're reacting that way, maybe you can have some strategies or medication to help you respond in a way that's a little more constructive and makes it a little easier to live with you, because you're probably not that easy to live with. Sorry to break it to you. Most people aren't, but people with attention deficit, they're particularly difficult to live with. Sorry to let you know. Anyway, so that's the update. I'm going to be doing more. I really hope to start developing this channel, and I really hope you'll subscribe and kind of follow the journey. I'd love to hear what your experiences are. As I'm an older gentleman of 57, just starting with my medications, so this is my journey, and I hope you'll join it. So I know I'm rambling, and that's what I do. So just subscribe, share, come back, share your stories, posts, all that stuff. This channel is not going to be just about attention deficit. It's going to be about a little bit of everything. So it's kind of has an attention deficit feel to it. But there'll be some cool creation stuff here. I'm going to have some cool guests, and we're in a cool location in the woods here. Thanks for watching this. I'm glad that you made it all the way. Hope to see you again. I'm Jim.